She reached for him, but touched the hem. An important part of the story was actually found one book prior to Matthew. At the end of the Old Testament, when there was prophetic words being spoken over Jesus' forecoming, and the Son of Righteousness will arise with healing in his wings. Now the part of Jesus she reached for. The four corners of the road were known as wings. And we know this because of prior specifications given in the Old Testament on where to hang their tassels. So we know the rest of the story. She reached, she touched the hem, power left his body, and she received healing in that moment. But the woman of blood wasn't just part of a historical miracle. She was part of a prophetic fulfillment. And the previous part of that verse said the healing would come to those who revered his name. She revered who he was long before she was on her hands and knees, reaching for the wing. And this implies that faith has more to do than just believing in what God can do for you, but actually believing in who he is without needing evidence. Many people had seen and believed in the Bibles, in the story of the miracles, but she had yet to see and believed, which God even tells us is blessed. She had believed that prophecy long before she had believed in the prospect of healing, because she believed and she was looking for him. In fact, I imagine that prophecy stuck in her head and her heart and her mind on continuum. At every doctor visit, at every physician she sought, at every word that was spoken over to her that there was no hope and there was no healing. Listen, faith has everything to do with prophecy. They're interdependent. In fact, you need faith in order to trust in, rely on, and receive a prophetic message. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for. She had hoped for healing and was assured she could receive it through him. But it also said it is a conviction of things not seen. She had not yet saw him, but she was convinced and convicted that he was the prophecy fulfilled. Unlike many of us in this modern world who ask God to prove himself to us, she didn't need proof. She already knew he was who he said he was. She didn't need evidence to bank on that. And this is why that woman's faith was so special. Not only did it play a part in her healing, but God allowed it to play a significant role in a prophetic fulfillment that pointed to who Christ was, because she was already living a life pointing to him. Her faith was already living up to the claim. And this is why God used her and she became infamous in storytelling in the Bible, because her faith was foundational to him and not just her healing.